All right, so this is part 4 of the small block Chevy 265 build. So I ordered a set of 6-inch connecting rods from eBay. These are some Chinese-made connecting rods. The biggest issues I've had with these is the consistency between the weight of the small end and the big end throughout the whole set. Other than that, they seem to be decent rods. I've used quite a few, not the 6 inches, but the 5.7 inch standard small block Chevy rod length. And they seem to work pretty good. I've had no real issues with them. So these are press fit as opposed to how these are bushed for a floating wrist pin. These are press fit small ends, just like what our pistons need. The pistons I have that I'm using do not have any way of retaining the wrist pin in for a floating scenario. So this is what I got. I paid about 150 bucks for these on eBay. They were relatively cheap. I couldn't even resize a set for that much. So not that 6 inch was ever a standard size rod for Chevy. But either way, this is what I got. Alright, now that their heater's off, excuse me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, I'm going to unbox all these. I'm going to weigh the big ends of all of them. Actually, I'm going to get a total weight of every single one first. Then I'm going to go through and I'm going to weigh the small end of every single one. And then I'm going to go through and weigh the big end of every single one. I'm going to document it. And this will be as how they were shipped. I keep records of all this stuff just for, future knowledge. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started. So I got one out already. I already weighed it. There are 634.21 grams, the complete weight of the rod. And the small end's 204.85 grams, and the big end's 429.16 grams. So it's a little heavy, a little heavier than a standard small block Chevy rod, but it's also more than a 1/4 inch longer than a small block Chevy rod. So not too crazy. As long as the consistency between these are relatively close, I won't have to do a lot of work to grind on these to get them all weigh the same. That's what I've noticed is the biggest issue between buying cheap connecting rods off eBay and getting like a set of Eagle rods. Like this here is an Eagle rod right here. And if I were to buy a whole set, they would be very close in weight. What they do at the factory is they, not every set of rods that goes out is the same exact weight is the next set, but what they do is they mix and match all their rods at the factory till they get a set that's very close, and then they ship that out as a set. So this is that Eagle rod. You can see it's 594 grams. So this one here is about 40 grams heavier, right? But this is their lightweight series rod. To be honest, I'm trying to see where I might see the actual difference in weight. Man, they're very, very similar. So, like around the small end, I can see the small end is significantly heavier. And then the I-beam itself is heavier. If you look at it, this I-beam is kind of flatter. It's narrower. This actually kind of forms like a triangle on the end. So the big ends are actually, it looks like almost an exact copy for the most part. So yeah, you can see here, see how thick that line is, and then see how thin that is. So, and down here as well, it's not, this is pretty close to that, but the Eagle rods, they pay a lot more attention to, and these ones that I get from eBay, they're just a little bulkier. But for what I'm doing, the small block Chevy 265, it's going to work out perfect. So let's go ahead and unbox these. And right there. This is how it comes with my closet. And I'm not extra garbage. That's my last second on here. Don't want to do it, but I'm really Alrighty, so that's all 8 of them. And what we'll do, we'll create two separate files here. Hopefully those don't tip. So each one of these rods comes with a unique number stamped on the end cap. So what I've done is this is number 1. What do we got going on here? Alrighty, so the unique number to this one is 0965. So I've already weighed that one. It is 634.21 grams. So switch it zeroed out. This one has a unique number of 0998. So let's type that in. Here. Okay. And then what we'll do is, so you have a bevel in for the chamfer on the crankshaft, and then you have the end where the rods go together. I always point the chamfer end out when I'm doing it. I just try to stay consistent that way. But right now we're just weighing the total weight. So this one is 634.04. 634.04. So right now I already know this one is not that far off. We're only, I don't know, about 16, 17 grams different. Or about 0.17 grams, not 17 grams itself. And I'll go through all these really quickly. This unique one is 940, so the unique number is 940. Whoopsie, what did I do? Control Z, I hope. Awesome, I deleted something somehow. Control Z, not working. I'm gonna go back and see how I deleted this. Alright, too much crap in the way here. Alright, so the number on this one, 00998. Alright. And this one, 0940. Tap that over. This is 940. Yep. Alright, we can wait on that. Look at 633.97 grams. 97 grams. Now we'll move to the next one. This unique number is 0583. So 05. So wrong by 5 by 83. Excuse me. 633 grams, 0.27. 633.27 grams. Grams. Switch to uppercase to use. I want lowercase. Alrighty, so. Alright, so this unique number is 0981. Whoops, almost skipped the weighting. 634.32 grams. 634.32 grams. So far, the lightest one is about a gram different than the others, so which isn't too crazy. But the problem is you can get a scenario where that weight's in an area you can't remove, and if it's on the big end you can't remove it, it causes more issues. So, or even if it's small, I should say. Like take a look at this rod, where you pull the weight off the small end on that. The big end has a few areas you can pull weight off of. You pull it off here. You want to be close to the center line for true weight removal, but this end you really shouldn't pull weight off that side. That kind of weakens the cap. So anyway, some rods you're kind of limited on where you can pull weight off of. Whoops. Apparently, I got shift, not space bar. 0895. That's the unit number for this one. We'll weigh that piece out. 634.08. 634.08 grams. Why is it converting to? Cancel these. Alright. Should I get the number? 663.26. And the unique number on that one is 08083. I guess I'll fall over and get damage. 0778. So if I'm looking at these numbers, you can see they probably started at 001 and worked their way through 1,000 or 999, or no, 9,999 on these. But either way, it's just guessing. I don't really know. 634.16, 34.16 grams. Alrighty, so now we're going to move on to the small end of these things. But being as how I'm all the way down here at this, what we'll do is I'll just go backwards and then move the sack that direction. So what I got to do is move this big part over to here. Make sure that's on all the way. Re-zero that out. And then make sure it's zeroed out. All right, so we moved on to the small end. So 205.48. Oops. That's grams. All right, so we'll pull this one off. Just in order, we'll confirm that's that. Have the bevel out. Make sure that's all the way on. 203.36. 203. See, I'm already starting to see a discrepancy in the small ends. There's roughly 2 grams there. You might be thinking that doesn't sound like a lot, but you get 2 grams of weight off of a small end like that. Not necessarily these ones, but off some rods. It's pretty difficult. So 895. Bevel out. 204.15. 204.56. Oops. 205.77. See if I can have here. Now, the problem with that is when you start heavy on land, and they're all relatively the same weight. Should not be a 2. I'll double check that one. That should be 6. What happens is when you get a small end, and there's a substantial difference, all the rods are very close in weight, that means that the other end is significantly different. So we are on, just to confirm, 094, 094, Jeff, you're out. All right, Joe 346. Joe 437. Okay, so then we're going to work our way back the other direction. I've already got that first rod, big, small, and the whole thing, so move this over, let it stabilize, zero it out. All right, and then we confirm. 0998, chamfer out. So I have 429.06, 429.06. $429.78. $427.01. $429.19. $429.39. $429.41. $428.31. Alrighty, now that I've gathered all of the information, I can look through this. So the overall weight between all the connecting rods is only part of the story. It's when you've got to look at the small ends. I can see we got a 205 as the heaviest, almost 206. It's 205.77, and then for the lightest, we have a 203.36. So it might not sound like a lot, but not realistically, that's not. I've had a set of rods where there was a 20-gram difference on big end and small end between the rods. So that's not too bad, actually. One thing I could do is I could go through and I can grind down and balance these out perfectly. Another thing I could do is, and that's what I'm going to do on this engine because it's more of a budget engine, I'm going to go through and weigh all the pistons and piston pins, and I'm going to mix and match stuff so that our small end total weight is figured out through balancing them out. The big end, the only way to match these is to grind weight off. So we got the lightest big end is 427.01 grams, and the heaviest appears to be 429.41. So again, there's a difference between those 2 grams. You can see this is the lightest small end, and this is the heaviest big end. That weight just moves from one side to the next when you have the total weight relatively close to one another. So anyway, this is where I'm going to stop this at this point, because the next step will be I'm going to go through and weigh the pistons. Now, if I go through and weigh all the pistons and the pins and they're just really close, what I will have to do is come through and remove a little bit of weight from the small end just to get that side good. But anyway, that's it for now. If you like this, like, share, and subscribe. Do all those things. Leave a comment. I haven't gotten a single comment from anyone. People have watched the videos. I can look at the analytics, but nobody ever leaves a comment. So anyway, this is for the 265, small block Chevy 265, that is. This is part 4. There will be many parts to come. Balancing this rotating assembly will be several parts. So this is part 1 of the balancing.